All right, welcome back, guys. It's been a while. I've still working on writing and recording an album here, as the middle of April 2022 is upon us, and so I haven't had much time to do video content like I want to. But I wanted to sort of get back into some classic metal stuff here. And so we're taking a look at the Stand Up and Shout riff by Dio. This was from Dio's first album after he left Black Sabbath. And man, what a corker of an album. This is probably, there's not a bad song on the whole record. It's chock full of great riffs, great guitar playing, and of course the legendary vocals of Ronnie James Dio. So you can't go wrong, and it's hard to believe that I haven't actually covered this riff before on my channel. So we're going to take care of that today, and I'll probably do a few more riffs from this album that I haven't covered before, other than the tracks like Holy Diver and Rainbow in the Dark, which have been covered a zillion times. There's a lot of other great stuff, so I'll be getting into that pretty soon too. Alright, so before we get started on the riff here, I'll point you down to the description box down below, and there you will find my sweet picking guide. It's called Sweet Picking Boot Camp. It's my free gift to you. Please check that out. It's going to really help you out if you're struggling with your sweet picking or just starting to get into the technique. All kinds of great free exercises and licks and cool stuff. All right, so make sure and check that out. Now, as I researched this riff, watching Vivian Campbell play it, especially now with the Last in Line band, and then sort of comparing that to what I'm seeing from other instructors on YouTube, how to teach this, there's sort of a little difference, I think, in how Vivian's doing than some of the tab I've seen. So let's get into this. We're tuned standard here, and this is in the key of A. And it's a pretty fast riff. And first of all, let's talk about the picking. If you want to try and down pick this, be my guest. It's pretty fast. I'm not the world's greatest down picker. I never claimed to be. Not a thrash guitar player. But you can down pick some of it and alternate pick some of it. I tend to alternate pick a lot of it just because I'm used to playing that way, those kind of riffs where you're really alternate picking almost everything. But for maybe a heavier sound, of course you can down pick. So that's up to you. You can down pick the whole thing, you can down pick some of it. Go ahead and experiment and see what works for you. I'm going to show you the riff and how I think Vivian's playing it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to be pedaling on this A string quite a bit. And then we're hitting these dyads here, which are 2-note chords. And this is on the 5th fret on the D and G strings. And actually, all of these at the front of the riff here are going to be on the D and G strings. So you got the A string pumping, right? And then we're going to go down to the 4th fret on the D and G. And I think he hits that twice, but there's quite a bit of vibrato on the first one. that. Okay. And then the second time, now here's where people get it wrong, I think, and it's very close, and at this speed it's really hard to tell. But a lot of times I see people doing this. And that's how I've played it in the past too, so I'm not bagging on anybody. And I think even Doug Aldrich played something like that when he was in the band. So it doesn't sound wrong. It's just that what I'm seeing Vivian do, first of all, he keeps these chords like this, so the middle finger in the ring. And if you watch him play this, he doesn't move back, except for on the first one. Right there he does. But on this one, he doesn't. He doesn't go back. You can watch his hand. And so what I think is going on, it's either one of two things. He's pulling this off from 5 to 4 to open, and then landing on a D5 power chord. So that being the case, it would be, and the whole riff would sound like this. I think that's what he's doing, but there's one other possibility, actually two other possibilities. One of them would be this, where he's just pulling off to the open D and G string, and then hitting an open A string, and then hitting a D5. So here's what I mean. So in that case, it would be, you see what I mean? When you speed this up, you can't really hear the difference anyway, but we're trying to get this accurate here. The other possibility is pulling off like that. So you're kind of pulling off from 5 and 5 on the D and G to 5 on the D, 4 on the G. I don't think that's it though. I think it's one of the first two. Either kind of an old rainbow style thing, right? I think that's what it is. Or, okay, so there you go. That's my little rant on that specific aspect of it. If you put those first two together, you got most of the riff right there, okay? There's a little pause, pick slide, and then you're back into it, pausing on the drums and the bass there too, as a held note with the bass. And then you're back into the riff. And it continues, and then there's a little sort of a pre-chorus, and the pre-chorus goes like this. Then you're back into the riff. So what's going on here is you're playing a D5 power chord. Back to that C on the 5th fret, D and G, E, and we're pedaling the A string. Back to the C, F, F5 with the 8th fret and 10th fret, A and D string. Okay, so that again. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me do it really slow. Okay, and now now we're going to play the lick that has mystified me for many years, and it turns out it's really not that hard to play or even hard to hear as long as you kind of realize what's happening here. And the lick is... Try that again. You'll hear on the recording I played it an octave higher like Vivian does live sometimes. But all he's doing is moving down to the G minor pentatonic scale and playing this. It's 5 on the D, 3 on the D, 5 on the A. Right down the G minor blues scale, 5-3-D, 5-4-3-A. And you can either grab 6 here on the low E or 1 here on the A string. And then you're right back into the riff. So let me do this. Let me play the whole thing now together, kind of at a medium slow tempo for you. And there you go. That's how you play Dio, Stand Up and Shout by the great Vivian Campbell. Super cool riff. Like I said, there will be more Dio riffs from this album coming very soon. But in the meantime, have fun with this and rock on. I'll see you next time.